Okay guys, so I'm gonna blast you guys with a quick Q&A right out of the gate. We're gonna hop right in, no questions missed. So how to get rid of shoulder pain. So a lot of people come up to me after an injury and they're like, dude, I just suffered a severe injury, my training career is done. Basically like I was gonna start coaching, but I can't anymore. Please don't be that guy. Please, if you're suffering with any shoulder injuries or if you have any questions, please just shoot me a DM. Let's get ahead of it and prevent the injury before it actually becomes a bigger issue. So first things first is your overhead mobility. Now, a lot of people will dive into overhead mobility and make it such a thing that you have to stretch for 35 minutes, before your workouts. You don't. Now, there's two sides of the tape. So stability and mobility. Stability being the most important, because your shoulders have to maintain strength because they move in 360 degrees. So they can easily slide in and out of socket. So stability is a thing. Making sure that you're doing your dumbbell overhead presses, your lateral raises, your front raises, and your rear reverse flies without any pain. If there is a movement that causes pain, then chances are you should move on, avoid it a little bit, and then come back to it. This is also single arm exercises should definitely be involved there so you can reduce any type of pain. Now, a lot of people will say, I can't bench press, I can't chest press. You can, but you're not isolating that muscle group away from the other muscle group causing you pain because you might have some sort of impingement. So it's safe to say that you need to do some isolation work so that you can go ahead and build up your mind-muscle connection when you're doing exercises. So what powerlifting showed me was to tuck my shoulders back and expose my chest clear into those ranges of motion so that I can fully contract them, and you can go a little bit lighter, limit the range of motion, and then those things will all help you. But what I mean by mobility is you have to keep your pecs loose, you got to keep your lats loose. For instance, I could show you guys a couple lat exercises. You want to be foam rolling, and as well as you want to do some mobility exercises to keep your wrist and all of your body really flexible. I can make some videos on that. If you guys want to comment below and let me know if this actually stemmed into more questions, and then I can really dive into any really specific questions that you guys might have. But building thick lats, let's talk about that. Why is that important? It's going to make your physique so much more proportional, and just really having a really strong upper back is a huge foundation for any body, that wants to limit back pain, that wants to increase their posture, that wants to live, a healthier lifestyle without virtually any lower back pain. So your lat downs, your chin-ups are always a goal for everybody coming in. Almost everybody should be able to do a chin-up, but it's you have to follow the regressions. You have to commit to them. You can't cop out. You got to go slow on your eccentrics. You got to squeeze those muscle groups. You got to pause on those muscle groups, because if you skimp out on any of these things, you'll be in a forever penitentiary, or what is it? Some penitentiary of I can't move on. I can't get any bigger. I can't build any more muscle. I can't get over one chin-up. Well, it's because you're not embracing the pain, you're not squeezing the contractions or slowing down the eccentrics and then progressing that over time so that you can get to that level. Don't be impatient with it. Don't hop into heavier reps and sets because it's just not beneficial to you. But big, wide lats too. For instance, you can see how far, these are my lats, I'm not stuffing them. You can see them from the front, and I built that from powerlifting because we used to do very heavy deadlifts, and that was the only way for me to keep a straight, erect back as much as I could. But what I noticed that with the powerlifting, it was the same thing bodybuilders were doing, but I didn't have enough muscle maturity to engage those lats. But the wider your lats, the smaller your waist, and the thicker your back, the better it looks. Big back, will transfer into, like I said, posture muscles, and then when you shows, if you ever think about doing some sort of bodybuilding. But let's move on to the next question, which leads me into lower back pain and can lead into hip pain, how to get rid of it. So normally the lower back will start to stem and create pain, but it might be stemming from the hips or a little muscle we call the TFL. All of these little things might start building up and then building those knots and then stiffening you up. So it'll stiffen and immobilize your left side, for instance, and then this is gonna pull into your lower back and then just hold it prisoner, and then you're gonna feel really tight throughout the day. And second you deadlift or you squat, it's completely their fault that you will go ahead and experience low back pain. Says everybody, but no, it's not that. It's that you might be sitting for a long time, and what sitting does is it just turns off your hip flexors, turns off your butt, and then you get nice stiff hips. So doing some hip opener exercises will keep the hips loose. And trust me, all those hip mobility exercises do work, but you got to do them in order to reduce pain. And they're easy, and you can sit in them here and there, but some days they will be tighter than others. So you have to go back into them and look for progressions to start building more mobility within those hips. And then that will reduce that hip pain, and then you can address something like low mind muscle connection to your glutes, because if your hips are tight, you probably won't be able to contract your glutes. So building a good set of glutes, which I did, from powerlifting as well. What I noticed with the powerlifters that I competed with, all of them have stacked quads, glutes, upper back, and chest, because those are the muscles that we're competing with, basically. So deadlifting, squeezing your glutes at the top, will not create lower back pain if you do the technique properly. In fact, it's going to reduce chances of back pain because you actually know how to lift off the ground. Keeping your upper back muscles as strong as possible, like your lats, your rhomboids, your rear delts, your midsection, middle of your back, and your upper back with face pulls and lat downs and chin ups and bent over rows and single arm rows, row as much as you can in machines, and that will reduce lower back pain. And then keeping things flexible like the hip flexors and the chest so your shoulders don't pull forward, and then start to decrease your posture.